Ever wonder how a single player can transform a whole league? That is precisely what is occurring in the WNBA today with the rise of Caitlin Clark. Clark, known for her tremendous shooting range and creative playmaking skills, has enthralled spectators while also forcing experienced coaches like Cheryl Reeve to reconsider their plans. This film dives into Caitlin Clark's enormous influence on the WNBA, the strategic reactions of coaches, notably Cheryl Reeve, and the league-wide ripple effects.
I think just reflecting back over my 4 years is just, I'm very grateful starting and playing in front of absolutely no one during COVID. And then obviously my sophomore year, we had good crowds. The curtains were down a lot of the games, and now it's impossible to get a ticket to get in the door to our games. So, yeah. I think the people that have made it the most special, obviously my teammates, my coaches, but it isn't what it is without all of you. So seriously, I mean that, and I thank you. And this is special. I don't know if you guys realize what you're doing for women's basketball and women's sports in general, but you're changing it. You're helping us change it. So seriously, from the bottom of my heart, from all of us, we thank you so much. And I just feel really grateful to be here, and I put on an Iowa jersey for 4 years. But like Coach Bluder and Kate said, like, there's still so much more fun to have, and we're not done.
There is.
Caitlin Clark rose to national prominence as a superb college basketball player, attracting parallels to some of the game's best shooters, male and female. Her extraordinary ability to make deep three-pointers with astonishing efficiency earned her a household name even before she stepped onto a WNBA floor. But it wasn't only her shooting that drew fans in. Her court vision, speed, and leadership abilities made her the whole package.
That's Caitlin Clark herself of the WNBA. Let's get to the WNBA and this sensational rookie from the Indiana Fever who continues to be box office. Clark and the Fever currently lead the WNBA in average game attendance and per game TV viewership. But despite the attendance and viewership records, there seems to be some haterade in the league in regards to Clark, starting with WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops herself.
Clark's transfer to the WNBA was met with great hopes. Fans and commentators alike questioned how her game would transition to the professional level and whether she could retain her supremacy against the world's greatest defenders. The response was swift and emphatic. Caitlin Clark was not only capable of playing in the WNBA, but also destined to become one of its most prominent stars.
I think it's more of, the official announcement has not been made by USA Basketball, so it'd be premature for me to have any conversations about any player or anything until I see that announcement.
Cheryl Reeve, head coach of the Minnesota Lynx, is generally recognized as one of the best coaches in the WNBA. With many victories under her belt, Reeve has established a reputation for strategic savvy and the ability to get the most out of her players. However, the entrance of Caitlin Clark posed a distinct difficulty. Reeve's original technique was careful observation. She knew Clark was a player who could alter the course of a game on his own, but she wasn't ready to adjust her whole strategy for one rookie. Instead, she concentrated on her team's strengths, believing that their combined expertise and ability would be sufficient to offset Clark's genius.
Yeah, we haven't seen him a lot, I'll say that. What I have seen, and coming into the season, watching her in college, I said the single best thing that she does that young players don't do is she plays at an incredible pace. And pace can get you really, really far. And there's great value in that. Pace and passing, I think, are her two greatest things. I know the sexier part is probably the logo 3, but the pace and the passing is what makes her exceptional in my mind. The importance of the W, you're all standing here. I don't think it's just for Maya Moore's jersey into the rafters. At least I hope some of you are here for that. But every city that she's in, I thought it was really cool her senior year of college to see that take hold. It wasn't just the Iowa fans. It wasn't just a sold out Carver. She became a road show. And I don't know that, and I don't want to slight anybody in college, but I don't remember seeing that in my time.
However, as the season went on, it became evident that Clark was more than simply a brilliant player. She was a game changer. In a league where every possession matters, Reeve had to adjust fast or risk being outplayed by a rookie on the rise. The WNBA All-Star Game is often seen as a showcase game, with the league's greatest players coming together to entertain fans and promote the sport. However, Cheryl Reeve saw this year's All-Star Game as a wake-up call. As Clark sparkled on the court, piling up assists and draining long-range shots, Reeve saw she needed to reconsider her strategy.
Yeah, if you can promise me that's how it's going to work out this time, I can tell you it was very positive tonight. I think first it would be really short-sighted of me if I don't take a moment and recognize what a great game it was, what a great environment, fun for people to watch, and we have work to do, right? And we know that.
Until then, Reeve had been focused on limiting Clark, inventing defensive strategies to restrict her influence. However, the All-Star Game demonstrated that Clark was more than simply a player who could be shut down. She was able to dominate the pace of the game. Reeve required a new strategy, one that recognized Clark's special abilities and aimed to neutralize them without jeopardizing her own team's strengths.
Sometimes it's good that, obviously the adversity, etc. I don't think we needed a game like this to have our attention per se. We know how hard it is to do what we're trying to do, and we just have work to do to get there.
Following the All-Star Game, Cheryl Reeve took a daring choice that surprised many. She accepted Caitlin Clark's challenge. Rather than seeing Clark as a danger, Reeve came to see her as an opportunity, a chance to put her coaching skills to the test and drive her squad to greater heights.
I asked Diana Taurasi's agent point blank, can you point me to anything positive she's ever said about Caitlin Clark? Never heard back, gave the agent a week to reply. And both of those women are on the team. I'm not saying that anyone in particular is doing this, but as a journalist, it is my job to try to figure out what happened. This is a huge decision. It will continue to reverberate all the way to Paris.
Reeve changed her plan, going away from solely defensive tactics and towards a more balanced approach that capitalized on her team's strengths while appreciating Clark's capabilities. She emphasized speed and ball movement, recognizing that the best approach to defeat a player like Clark was to outplay her rather than restrict her. This change in approach paid off. The Lynx started to play with a renewed sense of purpose, moving the ball fast and effectively while attacking flaws in their opponent's defenses. Reeve's desire to adapt and grow as a coach not only helped her team's play, but also highlighted her ability to keep up with a fast-evolving league. Beyond the on-court ramifications, Caitlin Clark has influenced the WNBA's commercial side. Her popularity has improved attention and attendance, making her an important asset to the league as a whole. Teams that face Clark and the Indiana Fever are witnessing an increase in ticket sales, and Clark's games are routinely among the most watched.
Caitlin Clark, WNBA Rookie of the Month, packing arenas while averaging 17 and 6 assists. That's not enough to make the Olympic roster. Caitlin gets snubbed.
Okay, I implore once again all of my colleagues to please take a breath before these conversations, because the Caitlin Clark conversation is in the process of jumping over into the political realm, and it's going to get even grosser.
Cheryl Reeve, ever the strategist, spotted an opportunity here as well. She saw that the excitement around Clark could help both her club and the league as a whole. By accepting the challenge of facing Clark, Reeve established the Lynx as one of the league's must-see teams, attracting fans eager to see how her team would do against the league's newest star. Reeve's approach also emphasizes the larger commercial factors involved in professional sports. It's not only about winning games, it's about establishing a brand and developing a product that people want to interact with. By facing the Clark issue straight on, Reeve not only enhanced her team's performance, but also helped raise the WNBA's prominence at a critical point in its development.
There have been someone who might end up being a vice presidential nominee, not Aaron Rodgers, was out here tweeting today, damn near demanding an investigation about why she wasn't on there. What? I bet Wilds, we'll see if I'm right, that there will be a Caitlin Clark-related question at a White House press conference this week, because this has become a culture war, because everything God knows must be culture war.
As Caitlin Clark's fame rose, so did the media's scrutiny of her. Analysts and fans analyzed and scrutinized every move she made and shot she took. This obsessive attention caused a difficult dynamic for people around her, particularly Cheryl Reeve.
But despite the attendance and viewership records, there seems to be some haterade in the league in regards to Clark, starting with WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops herself. She recently spoke on her podcast, Queens of the Court.
Reeve found herself in a tough situation. On the one hand, she needed to retain her reputation as a great coach who could lead her team to victory over any opponent. On the other side, she had to strike the delicate balance between complimenting Clark's abilities and coming out as too subservient or dismissive. This balancing task was compounded by the larger media environment, in which every statement or action may be perceived in a variety of ways.
When in reality, I think there is totally legitimate arguments, and I rarely feel this way, on both sides of this. I think if you want to say she is not good enough yet, that's fair. The numbers would say she's probably not. She's not good enough yet, and it's the Olympic team, and giving her a spot takes one away from someone else. It is also totally legitimate to say we roll in the Olympics every year. We can afford having, someone who's the 20th best or 24th best instead of the 12th best because of what it would potentially do to grow the game. That's legitimate.
But I don't necessarily know that this team is going to be, the team that changes things. I think we're continuing to, be on that upward trajectory, and this team has absolutely been a part of that.
Reeve's dealings with the media became a tightrope dance as she attempted to give meaningful insight while avoiding words that may be misinterpreted or taken out of context. Reeve's coaching knowledge and calmness were helpful in this situation. She saw the significance of controlling the narrative and creating a public image in ways that benefited both her club and the league. By carefully regulating her statements and actions, Reeve was able to preserve her reputation and keep the spotlight on the game rather than any possible drama or controversy. The Caitlin Clark phenomenon is more than simply a WNBA tale. It's about the future of women's basketball in general. Clark's success has highlighted the women's game, attracting new spectators and raising the sport's prominence. Her impact goes beyond the WNBA, motivating young girls all around the nation to pick up a basketball and dream of playing at the greatest level.
We just had breaking news just a few minutes ago. Caitlin Clark not making the Olympic team despite leading all rookies in points and assists. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, obviously broken news. I've got to look at the roster to see who they picked to be on the team, but I would imagine they leaned on veterans. And while Caitlin has had an incredible season,
this increased focus has also resulted in increased investment in women's basketball, with more funds going into player development, marketing, and media coverage. As a consequence, the WNBA's level of play is better than ever, with more skillful and athletic players joining the league each season. For Cheryl Reeve and other coaches, this means the competition will only become stronger. However, it also means that the WNBA is entering a thrilling new age, with the league's talent and exposure at all-time highs. The challenge for Reeve and her colleagues will be to continue to develop and adapt while keeping up with the quickly changing world of women's basketball.
Physicality of Olympic basketball, the physicality of FIBA basketball is taken to an entirely new level. Just looking at that roster right away, looks like they leaned into veterans and veteran experience and efficiency when it comes to scoring. So that's my quick take on it, but I've got to dive deep into it.
Yeah, we know that Caitlin Clark is a great player and she will probably be great in the WNBA, but just like you said, the veterans, you know what you're going to get on that team.
And you know what else we know? We know Caitlin will have plenty of opportunities to make Olympic rosters.
As Cheryl Reeve navigates the hurdles given by Caitlin Clark and the new generation of talent joining the WNBA, her legacy as a coach becomes stronger. Reeve has always been regarded as one of the greatest in her field, but her capacity to adapt and flourish in the face of new obstacles is what really distinguishes her.
It's been happening, prior even to this team. This momentum, this wave, that we're feeling, it has been sort of this kind of journey for women's basketball to get the attention that it is, getting at this point. So I think we mirror what's happening, obviously in the WNBA. And, I think hopefully this team can uphold, sort of the culture and the level of success and compete.
Reeve's desire to take on the Clark challenge, adapt her coaching tactics, and participate in the media and commercial elements of the game proves her dedication to the WNBA's development and success. She recognizes that the league is at a crucial crossroads, and her decisions as a coach and leader will have long-term consequences. At the same time, Reeve's work is helping to prepare the next generation of coaches and players. By establishing a high bar for quality and creativity. She inspires others to push the limits of what is possible in women's basketball. Her legacy will be defined not just by the titles she has won, but also by the enduring impact she has had on the sport as a whole. In many ways, Caitlin Clark symbolizes a watershed moment for the WNBA. Her entrance has produced a surge of enthusiasm and interest in the league, attracting new spectators and increasing the sport's prominence. However, her effect extends beyond the stats. She is a change agent, pushing coaches, players, and league officials to reconsider their plans and approaches.
And obviously my sophomore year we had good crowds, the curtains were down a lot of the games, and now it's impossible to get a ticket to get in the door to our games. So yeah, I think the people that have made it the most special, obviously my teammates, my coaches, but it isn't what it is without all of you. So seriously, I mean that, and I thank you. And this is special. I don't know if you guys realize what you're doing for women's basketball and women's sports in general, but you're changing it. You're helping us change it. So seriously, from the bottom of my heart, from all of us.
For Cheryl Reeve, this has included pushing outside of her comfort zone, questioning her own preconceptions, and welcoming new ideas. It has included acknowledging that the game is changing, and that traditional methods of doing things may no longer be enough. However, it has also included seeing the possibility for development and advancement and grabbing the chance to be a part of that transformation. The Caitlin Clark impact is more than just one player. It represents a bigger revolution of the WNBA and women's basketball. It's about the sport's ability to reach new heights, inspire a new generation of fans and players, and establish itself as a great sporting superpower. As we look to the future of the WNBA, it's evident that the league is on the verge of something extraordinary, with players like Caitlin Clark leading the way and coaches like Cheryl Reeve pushing the limits of what is possible. The WNBA is primed for a new age of expansion and success, but with expansion come new problems. The league will need to continue to develop and adapt to attract spectators and maintain the highest quality of play. Coaches like Reeve will play an important part in this process, guiding their teams and the league as a whole into this exciting new era.
We thank you so much, and I just feel really grateful to be here, and I put on an Iowa jersey for 4 years, but like Coach Bluder and Kate said, like there's still so much more fun to have, and we're not done.
There is.
I think it's easy, like these people are my best friends, and like that's not for show. Like I seriously know, like I'm not me without all of them, and they've had my back, and they do a lot of dirty work for me to be able to have the fun and take crazy shots, and they hold me accountable, but more than anything, like they're my best friends off the court, and I think that's why we thrive on the court and have so much fun together. And more than anything, I know these girls are going to be my best friends for the rest of my life, and really that's all that matters to me. I don't really care if we win another game. It's just having these people in my life for forever.
Finally, the Caitlin Clark effect is about more than basketball. It is about sports' ability to inspire, challenge, and unite people. As we watch the WNBA expand and flourish, we can be certain that women's basketball has a better future than ever before, owing in large part to the amazing abilities and efforts of players like Caitlin Clark and coaches like Cheryl Reeve.
That's a dream, hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. We remember that, and hopefully in 4 years, when 4 years comes back around, I can be there.
Did you have a direct conversation with managing director or whoever over there at USAB recently?
Yeah, they called me and let me know, and before everything came out, which was really respectful of them, and I appreciated that. And they did the same for every girl that made the team or every girl that didn't make the team. There's a lot of players in the Olympic pool, so it wasn't like I was the only one they had to call. They had to make quite a few calls.
If you like this in-depth look into Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA, please subscribe to our channel for more informative information on the latest in sports. Remember to share your comments on how Caitlin Clark is altering the game, as well as your predictions for the WNBA's future. Thank you for watching. In recent years, the world of sports has seen a stunning surge in the importance of women's athletics, a phenomenon that has not only reshaped the playing field, but also challenged long-held beliefs. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are two amazing athletes who are leading the charge. While their paths have been different, their influence on the sports world has been nothing short of revolutionary. On the one hand, Caitlin Clark's recent accomplishments have established new standards, captivated audiences, and inspired young athletes throughout the world. Angel Reese's climb to celebrity, on the other hand, has been welcomed with both affection and condemnation, especially when Dan Patrick publicly rejected her. These incidents provoked extensive discussion, shedding light on larger themes such as gender, media coverage, and the changing face of women's sports.
So it's no fun, but I know me and Caitlin will go at it if anything. Just out of competition, though. She wants to win, I want to win, and we're both just two great players that want to compete.
Angel Reese, noted for her basketball skills, has swiftly become a household figure in the world of women's sports. Reese, who was born and reared in Baltimore, Maryland, has achieved great success through dedication and perseverance. Her early career saw her excel in high school basketball, where she won multiple awards and established records. Reese's adjustment to collegiate basketball was simple, and she immediately established herself as a major player for the University of Maryland's women's basketball team. Her NCAA achievements have been nothing short of outstanding, and her ability to score, rebound, and defend makes her one of the league's most versatile players. However, Reese's journey to celebrity has been subject to controversy. Her bold and outspoken personality has made her a divisive figure in the sporting world. Some like her outspoken attitude, while others criticize her for what they see as arrogance. Regardless of the conflicting comments, there is little doubt that Reese has had a huge influence on women's basketball. Her ability to attract attention, both on and off the court, has raised the sport's popularity and sparked debate regarding the public image of female athletes.
Reese, the old board, Reese, the putback.
Offensive board leads the WNBA in that category. Well done.
All right, fair assessment. Nice pass from Clark. Yeah, first minutes. Clark, the flick ahead. Oh, what a dime from Clark. And Jones.
Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, has stunned the basketball world with her exceptional skill and competitive passion. Clark, who grew up in West Des Moines, Iowa, started playing basketball at an early age. Her enthusiasm for the game was obvious from the outset, and she soon rose to the ranks of high school standouts, smashing records and receiving national acclaim as one of the best prospects. Clark's transition to college basketball was punctuated by a number of standout performances that cemented her position as a budding talent. She has frequently given jaw-dropping performances while playing for the University of Iowa, including many 40-point games and clutch shots that have astounded fans and observers.
Yeah, I think for me, anytime you go up against somebody that's super competitive and, you know, has that same drive and will to win, that's what you love. That's what competitors love. These type of games is what makes our game so great. It's what people want to turn on the TV and watch. I expect the viewership numbers to be through the roof for this. Yeah, I can definitely relate to the pressure that she probably feels on the weight of her shoulders, and, you know, that's a lot to deal with somebody that's 22 years old and has that many eyeballs on her, and being able to manage that. And I know she probably has a lot of people around her that help her, and that's definitely something unique.
Clark's effect on the game extends beyond her remarkable stats. Her playing style, which features a deadly mix of shooting, passing, and court vision, has distinguished her from her colleagues. She has been likened to some of the best players in the sport's history, and her ability to produce under pressure has given her the distinction of being one of the game's most clutch players. As her fame rises, Clark's impact goes beyond the court, motivating a new generation of players and redefining women's basketball expectations.
Minutes. Clark, the flick ahead. Oh, what a dime from Clark. And Jones
makes Caitlin Clark elite at the very top in terms of players.
First time.
Dan Patrick, a well-known character in sports journalism, has long been recognized for his honest thoughts and important voice in the profession. His opinion on sporting events and athletes often has a substantial impact, molding public perception and provoking debate among fans and specialists. However, his recent comments regarding Angel Reese have sparked widespread outrage, highlighting the intricacies of media portrayal and the problems that female athletes face.
She didn't speak to the media after the game against Caitlin Clark, but a member of the Chicago Sky, the national title winner at LSU, and she talked about where all this attention started with her and Caitlin Clark, and she had this to say.
The event in issue happened during one of Patrick's radio appearances when he publicly chastised Angel Reese for what he saw as unsportsmanlike behavior during a major game. Patrick's disapproval of Reese extended beyond her on-court activities. He also criticized her confident demeanor and outspoken temperament, implying that she needed to tone down her personality if she wanted to be taken seriously in the sports world. These remarks instantly went viral, sparking a flurry of responses on social media and throughout the sports world.
If she would have have left it with what she had to say right before the last couple of words, I would have been fine with it. She's embraced the villain. She understands social media. She's done quite well. She is cashed in, literally cashed in.
The consequences of Patrick's rejection of Reese go beyond her career. It emphasizes the continual fight for female athletes to be recognized and acknowledged on par with their male counterparts. Reese's experience serves as a reminder that despite the progress achieved in women's sports, major hurdles need to be overcome. The event also highlights the role of media coverage in molding public impressions of athletes, especially female athletes, as well as the need for a more egalitarian and inclusive approach to sports criticism.
But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark. Then she's played off of that. Even Caitlin Clark getting knocked down in that game on Saturday, who's standing up applauding but Angel Reese. So she's sort of embraced a Draymond Green role here.
While Angel Reese dealt with the consequences of Dan Patrick's criticism, Caitlin Clark was creating history on the basketball court. Clark performed a masterclass in scoring, passing, and leadership during a recent game that has been recognized as one of the finest performances in college basketball history. Her effort not only helped her team win a key game, but also established a new bar for what is possible in women's basketball. Clark's game-changing moves extended beyond her performance on the court. Off the court, she has been a vocal champion for gender equality in sports, utilizing her position to highlight the discrepancies between men's and women's athletics. Her stance has resonated with both fans and other athletes, gaining her great affection and respect. Clark's initiatives have also highlighted the need for more investment in women's sports, ranging from improved facilities and resources to expanded media coverage and commercial possibilities.
Holly's fighting through it today. Here's Clark bodying in, head banking it home. Caitlin Clark with 20 points and assertive to the cup. Here's Clark bouncing, Boston hitting.
The cultural significance of Clark's recent acts cannot be emphasized. Her success has inspired a new generation of athletes, especially young girls, who regard her as a role model for what they may do. The media coverage of her accomplishments has also led to a change in the narrative around women's basketball, with greater emphasis placed on the ability, talent, and competition of female players. This increased awareness can draw more fans to the sport, resulting in additional chances for women's basketball at all levels. Clark's effect is seen on a global scale. Her triumph has rekindled interest in women's basketball in places where male sports have historically dominated the sport. International fans have taken note of her skills, and there is rising speculation regarding her future in professional basketball, whether in the WNBA or elsewhere. Clark's ascent to fame exemplifies the ability of sports to cross boundaries and bring people together, and her influence on the game will be felt for years.
Hit the three in the corner, Boston the rebound, Clark a good look. She got it. Had missed her first 6 from deep, but no hesitation there. Oh, what a dime! Clark to Boston!
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese's experiences provide a captivating case study on the interaction of gender, media, and sports. The way these two athletes are depicted in the press indicates a lot about the difficulties that female athletes experience in achieving the same degree of notoriety and respect as male competitors. It also emphasizes the importance of media coverage in molding public opinions and larger cultural narratives around sports. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, has received much acclaim for her confidence and competitive spirit, raising issues about why the same attributes are valued differently in different athletes. Part of the answer might be the way the media develops storylines around certain athletes, which are often based on preconceived assumptions of what a female athlete should look like. These myths are tough to dispel, and they influence how the public perceives athletics.
Listen, I believed in her from day one. You knew that she would only get better and better. She's averaging 17.8 points this season, 41% shooting, 33% from three-point range, leading the league in assists. Her last 5 games, Shannon, 22.5 points per game on 46% shooting, 11.4 assists per game. They've won 4 of their last 5, and now the Indiana Fever are 7th place overall and in playoff positioning.
Social media has also had a significant impact on how the public perceives Clark and Reese. Platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok have allowed athletes direct access to their followers, enabling them to manage their narratives positives to a degree. However, social media can be a two-edged sword, amplifying both good and negative criticism. Reese describes social media as a war where she has had to defend herself against detractors while simultaneously creating a dedicated audience. Clark has used it as a platform to exhibit her accomplishments and communicate with people all around the globe.
Obviously, people don't understand, like, if they think it's personal, but when I get between the lines, if friends or anything, if my teammate right here went to play for another team.
The interaction of gender, media, and sports is complicated and influenced by a range of elements, such as societal expectations, media practices, and individual personalities. Clark and Reese's tales underscore the need for a more nuanced approach to sports criticism, one that acknowledges the specific problems that female athletes confront and attempts to encourage rather than criticize them. As the media landscape evolves, there is a potential to create a more fair and welcoming atmosphere for all athletes, regardless of gender. This increased exposure has the potential to open up new options for female athletes, notably in terms of sponsorship and financial assistance. As more people become aware of the potential in women's sports, businesses may be more willing to invest in female athletes and provide them with the resources they need to thrive. This in turn might set off a virtuous cycle in which higher investment leads to improved performance, which attracts more fans and investment. However, some issues must be addressed. The occurrences involving Dan Patrick and Angel Reese illustrate the persistent problem of gender prejudice in sports and the need for more fair and inclusive media portrayal. There is also the matter of how to maintain the momentum created by the achievements of players such as Clark and Reese. While their tales have drawn attention to women's sports, this focus must result in long-term change rather than just a fleeting fad.
Angel Reese following you around, pointing to her ring finger and taunting you?
Honestly, I have no idea. I was just trying to get to the handshake line and shake hands and, be grateful that my team was in that position.
A variety of variables, including sustained athlete advocacy, changes in media practices, and growing sponsorship and fan investment, are expected to define the future of women's sports. Women's sports are increasingly being seen as deserving of the same amount of attention and respect as men's sports, and the tales of Clark and Reese are contributing to this shift. As more people become aware of female athletes' skills and efforts, women's sports chances will expand. As we look forward, the tales of Clark and Reese remind us of the necessity of encouraging and promoting women's sports. By recognizing and honoring female athletes' accomplishments, we can contribute to a more inclusive, equal, and exciting sports environment for everyone. We can all help shape the future of sports by increasing funding, improving media coverage, or just turning up to support women's sports. And as Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have shown, the future is bright. Skylar Diggins reportedly attacked Caitlin Clark during a WNBA game, and then Shannon Sharp revealed the issue on national television. This topic has been trending on social media, and we're here to break down every aspect for you. Make sure you stay around because we've got all the background, responses, and aftermath you need. Let's get to it.
A little bit of everything in this one, but the bottom line is Seattle wins, and they go to 2-3, and Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever gave it a great effort, but they fall 2 points short, and they are now 0-5 on the season. My goodness.
To truly comprehend what transpired between Skylar Diggins and Caitlin Clark, we must backtrack a little. Caitlin Clark has been among the most talked about players in the WNBA this season. Leading her squad, the Indiana Fever, she is not only building a reputation for herself, but also ruffling some feathers along the road.
I think just reflecting back over my 4 years I'm very grateful starting and playing in front of absolutely no one during COVID, and then obviously my sophomore year we had good crowds, the curtains were down a lot of the games, and now it's impossible to get a ticket to get in the door to our games. So, I think the people that have made it the most special, obviously my teammates, my coaches, but it isn't what it is without all of you. So seriously, I mean that, and I thank you. And this is special. I don't know if you guys realize what you're doing for women's basketball and women's sports in general, but you're changing it. You're helping us change it. So seriously, from the bottom of my heart, from all of us, we thank you so much.
Her ferocious competition, paired with her ability to excite the fans, has earned her a polarizing reputation on the court.
Yeah, I think for me, anytime you go up against somebody that's super competitive and, has that same drive and will to win, that's what you love. That's what competitors love. These type of games is what makes our game so great. It's what people want to turn on the TV and watch. I expect the viewership numbers to be through the roof for this. Yeah, I can definitely relate to the pressure that she probably feels on the weight of her shoulders, and that's a lot to deal with somebody that's 22 years old and has that many eyeballs on her, and being able to manage that, and I know she probably has a lot of people around her that help her, and that's definitely something unique.
During a recent game against the Seattle Storm, emotions were already high. The Indiana Fever, captained by Caitlin Clark, dominated the Storm. The game finished in a blowout, with the Fever claiming a dominating win. However, the drama did not finish with the final buzzer.
Tisha Penicheiro's record for most assists in a season by a rookie. Here's Clark speeding all the way in to the cup. Boston gets into the arms of Clark. Clark, the crossover, the throw.
After the victory, while Caitlin Clark was celebrating with her teammates, Skylar Diggins, a seasoned league veteran and Seattle Storm player, approached Caitlin. Skylar apparently bumped into Caitlin in an unexpected manner, which many are calling an assault. This wasn't a casual brush, it was a planned deed that shocked the WNBA community. Let's be clear, Caitlin Clark is recognized for her passionate style of play and her excitement for energizing the audience. She wasn't trying to be nasty, she was just enjoying a hard-fought triumph. However, Skylar Diggins seems to have interpreted this incorrectly. The event was caught on film and rapidly went viral, igniting a heated discussion on social media.
That will officially do it. Indiana gets its first win of the season against Seattle. 92-75 the final. As Christy Sides and Noelle Quinn exchange a long hug.
Shannon Sharpe, a former NFL great and now a well-known sports broadcaster, became aware of the occurrence. He was candid on his program. Shannon went off on Skylar Diggins, criticizing her behavior and supporting Caitlin Clark. According to Shannon, Skylar's actions were extremely inappropriate and showed a lack of sportsmanship. Shannon's response was a combination of amazement and fury. He couldn't understand why a seasoned player like Skylar Diggins would engage in such behavior, particularly against a rising star like Caitlin Clark. Shannon emphasized that Caitlin Clark is the WNBA's future face, and acts like this are damaging to the league's reputation. When Shannon Sharpe's words aired, the social internet erupted. Fans and experts alike commented on the scenario. Some backed Skylar Diggins, claiming that Caitlin Clark's actions were provocative and that she had it coming. Others agreed with Shannon Sharpe, saying that Skylar's behaviors were inappropriate and unprofessional.
In regards to Clark, starting with WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops herself. She recently spoke on her podcast, Queens of the Court, and didn't mention the rookie when speaking of Indiana's rise in the standings.
The discussion raged on Twitter, Instagram, and other social media sites, with hashtags like #TeamCaitlin and #TeamSkylar trending for days. Everyone had an opinion, and the WNBA found itself at the center of a contentious debate. So what came next? The WNBA took note of the situation and initiated an inquiry. While the league has yet to release an official comment, reports claim that both players have been talked to about their actions. Depending on the result of the inquiry, Skylar Diggins might face fines or penalties. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, has stayed pretty silent about the situation. In a post-game interview, she dismissed the incident, saying she is focused on winning and does not have time for drama. However, this episode has exacerbated her burgeoning animosity with Skylar Diggins.
To the rebound, Clark a good look. She got it. Had missed her first 6 from deep. But no hesitation there. Oh, what a dime! Clark to Boston!
Let's examine the rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Skylar Diggins. This is not the first time the two have battled on the court. Their competitive mentality has resulted in some heated battles in the past, and this most recent episode is just the latest chapter in their saga. Caitlin Clark, as previously said, is renowned for her fiery attitude and ability to get under her opponent's skin. Skylar Diggins, on the other hand, is an experienced player who has seen it all. The fact that these two are at opposing ends of the spectrum, one a rising star, the other an accomplished veteran, only adds to their conflict.
Listen, I believed in her from day one. You knew that she would only get better and better. She's averaging 17.8 points this season, 41% shooting, 33% from three-point range, leading the league in assists. Her last 5 games, Shannon, 22.5 points per game on 46% shooting, 11.4 assists per game. They've won 4 of their last 5, and now the Indiana Fever are 7th place overall and in playoff positioning. Caitlin Clark is real. She's coming, and I still contend she should have been on Team USA, Shannon. You saw the attendance for Team USA compared to everybody else. If she was on that team, that wouldn't have been a problem. I stand by my position from day one. She's real.
Where are the people that Stephen A? Oh, she don't do this. She not gonna do that. Let her cook. It got so bad yesterday, the Seattle Storm, they pulled their starters so she couldn't get that double-digit assist record 3 consecutive games with at least 20 points.
But why is this competition so important? The WNBA is now seeking to expand its fan base and get more exposure. Rivalries like this one benefit the league because they produce narratives that fans can connect with. However, when things get violent or personal, it may result in unwanted press, which the WNBA does not need right now. This event has triggered a bigger discussion regarding the condition of the WNBA and its players' conduct. Some feel that the league must tough down on unsportsmanlike behavior in order to retain its credibility. Others argue that such situations are just part of the game and contribute to the value of entertainment. There is also the question of how the media depicts female athletes. Shannon Sharp's words, although supportive of Caitlin Clark, also exposed athletics' double standards. Male athletes are often praised for their passion and competitiveness, but female athletes who exhibit the same characteristics are criticized or labeled as too emotional.
And 10 or more assists. They pulled their starters, and then Skylar Diggins, Fake Smith, her last name, she bumped into her, sped up. Let her cook. But if I'm Caitlin Clark, I'd have told Skylar Diggins, get your coat, your brim, and get on out of my gym. Let her cook. I want to know what y'all saying now, because she is legit. She's better, she's better than I thought she would soon.
The WNBA has been battling against the double standard for years. The league wants its players to be seen as strong, talented athletes, but it also wants to avoid the bad stereotypes that sometimes accompany that. It's a difficult balance, and events like the one involving Skylar Diggins and Caitlin Clark further confuse matters.
You know basketball. You know basketball better than me. You know basketball than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball. There is no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out of that soliloquy that you dropped about the Indiana Fever. Stop it. You know that. Stop it.
The WNBA has the chance to handle the problem in a manner that encourages sportsmanship and respect among its players. At the same time, they must be cautious not to crush the competitive spirit that makes the game so enjoyable to watch. So where are we going from here? The incident between Caitlin Clark and Skylar Diggins is far from done, and we can expect more drama as the season progresses. But one thing is certain, this rivalry has captivated the attention of fans and experts alike, and it isn't going away anytime soon. As usual, we'd like to hear your comments on the matter. Do you believe Skylar Diggins was out of line? Or do you think Caitlin Clark should tone down her on-court antics? Let us know in the comments section.